Hey, you guys. So I was talking to somebody earlier because they kind of like training me a little bit. And I was talking to them, talking about how just being kind of a mere human is not going to be an option. It's a reason why, before when Christians were real Christians, because you don't hear anybody talk about this anymore. It's a reason why you were told to be led by the Spirit, walk in the Spirit. For one thing, if I believe, because I don't see too many people who walk in the spirit, not on a regular basis. You might see somebody that might be in the spirit for a good 30 minutes, but somebody who walk in the spirits all the time, I've never in my lifetime seen that. Never. That kind of shows where this world is. For me not to see that, and so for me not to see it, then I didn't know it would be possible for me to do because I've never seen an example. I'm just going to have to live by example. But anyway, I talked to my trainer, and I said, you know what? I'm through with living as a mere human, and I'm gonna tell you why. In this world, you deal with a lot of trauma, and then by the time you resolve a lot of your trauma, you about half a century, and then it's almost like, okay, now in about another 20 to 30 years, you close to dying. Life is too short. First of all, life is too short to have any kind of trauma, especially the kind that I have. And I'm not trying to be all trying to talk up and tell my story and tell my traumatic story and all that. I'm not doing it. What I'm doing is what I'm about to do now, there's no way that I could have done it 20 years ago when I was more of an appropriate age. I couldn't have done it. I was not at a place spiritually, mentally, psychologically where I can do what I'm getting into doing right now. There's no way I could have done it. There was way too much damage to be done, and on top of that, I didn't even have any. I had a blackout where I don't know what was going on. So I couldn't. If I was to get therapy, I wouldn't know what I'm asking for. And one thing I know, I've been to therapy before. But one thing is for you, sure, you need to be able to give them something. And if you've been through trauma, but you don't remember what happened to you, then you're not giving nothing to the therapist. The best way to deal with that for me, from what I understand, is regression therapy. But I said this before. I believe that when I was a child, I actually died. Something happened because things was just weird. I feel like Bruce Willis from The Sixth Sense. Like something happened. I'm moving around like I'm still alive, but I'm dead, and I'm just in a different dimension. But I actually died as a child in that dimension and came to this dimension, still with my conscious awareness attached to me, living this life. And it's only but so much time that I get enlightened to know what happened before I completely check out of this conscious awareness of this character that I am and go to a different character. Okay? If that makes sense to some people. Because I know this is not the real world. This is a false world. So it's no real thing as living and dying. You're not really born into a real human body in a computer with a false world. I know I'm a false person. And that's why I don't want to get into that age, because I know this is a fake world. So I don't want to get caught up in age with this being a simulation. I know it's a simulation. I've seen the simulation. When my eyes open, I see what the simulation looks like. It looks like a bunch of numbers going up and down. That's what it looks like. It looks like I'm in a computer. If you look at a computer and you pull it apart and look at how a computer looks when you kind of pull it apart, that's what I see when I see the simulation. I know I'm in a simulation. And with that being said, I don't want to get caught up into all this stuff of age and all that stuff. And so now I'm going to get to the point of living a spirit-led life, basically being immortal. Okay, basically being immortal. It's not an option for me to live as a person who's just going to age and die. That doesn't work for me, because I've been through something, and a lot of people have too, where you need time to resolve whatever's going on with you, so you can be in the right, so you can be right for what's coming up. And what I'm about to do now, I need to be right for it. I have to be spiritually right. I have to be psychologically right, and I need to be mentally right. Now, me being an occupational therapist for over 20 years, I was able to get around it, right? I was able to get around it. Okay? But what I'm about to get into right now, there's no room for all that stuff going on. I'm not merely just going to work and going home. I'm not merely just clocking in and going home. Now this a different ball game. And every single time I took to work on myself, I needed that time to get here to where I am. But now I'm about almost a half a century old. By the time I get really good into what I'm doing, I'm going to be half a century old. And now I got to look at, I'm old enough to be a grandma. Well, and it's like, I told my trainer, I said, you know what, I don't believe in, well, there's no such thing as death. You go from one dimension to the other. But I had to let age go. I don't even celebrate my birthday. I had to let age go because life is too short in this world. Life is too short. Like, people are dying. A lot of people are dying before they even reach the age of 90 years old. Do you know how short that is? That's a curse. That's a curse. I remember reading in the Bible. I can't remember what doggone what scripture it was, but the Most High said it is a curse to live under 100 years old. That's like not a long time to live. That's a curse. The Most High called that a curse. Let me see if I can look it up. If my thing not gonna move too slow, I can look it up and see. But my tablet moves so slow, that's gonna take me too long to get this. Okay, let's see. I want to get the exact book and verse. Book, chapter, and verse. Hold on a second. I don't want to be quiet for too long. I'm just looking at something. Hold on. Okay, here I come. So I remember reading that. It says Isaiah, the book of Isaiah 65:20. Chapter 65, verse 20. It says Isaiah 65:20, which describes a future time of great blessing where dying before the age of 100 means a person was under a curse. If you die before the age of 100 years old, you are under a curse. You're under a curse. Those who die before they are 100 will be considered as having been under God's curse. Okay? So, and I know people have their own ideas about that, but 100 years old is young. It's still considered pretty young. And I don't feel like I have to get all old and wrinkly and all that stuff where my doggone skin is hanging off my bones and stuff. And just, I don't want to. I believe it says, so a man thinketh, so he is. And it's a reason why. Because you pretty much hallucinate your reality. You hallucinate your reality. And I'm past the point of the limited human programming. I'm past the point of limited human programming. And I was just sitting here with my eyes closed, thinking about what am I going to do. And it just came to me, be led by the Spirit. Be led by the Spirit and not by your flesh. Be led by the Spirit. Okay? Because I'm trying to figure out how am I going to smoothly transition into where I'm going. With, I'm not even going to say very little support, no human support as far as financially. Okay, as far as financially. Spiritually, I can have all the support in the world, which would be good. That's good. Because if you have support spiritually, then you're going to automatically get whatever you need done in the physical world. Okay, so spiritual support is the best. But yeah, I just feel like saying that my option, being a mere mortal cannot be an option for me. because most people in this world today, specifically United States of America, die before they reach the age of 90. A lot of people die before they reach the age of 90. That is way too young. Life is way too short. Life is too short to go through trauma. And then you got to, not just trauma, but other stuff going on in your life that might not necessarily be trauma, but it sets you back. Life is too short to have to go through that and to have to figure that out and get it together and get it resolved so it don't control your life anymore. And then by the time you do that, a lot of people don't even get that resolved until late 40s and almost 50s. And then when it's time for you to really get to what you're supposed to be doing, your real soul's purpose, you're old, because 50 is considered to be old. Well, if you die before, if it's a curse to die before 100, so 50 is still considered like a young adult, honestly. You know, I was listening to Bobby Hemmett talk, and he was talking about really, the United States will have it that a certain 40 is like you're getting old and like you're hitting a wall once you're 35. But honestly, you're supposed to be living well past 100, close to like 140 years old, to 120 to 140 years old. So really, 60 years old, you're basically just now becoming an adult at 60 years old. And it's the truth. I'm close to 50. And really, it's not till a lot of people become 60 where they really start to understand things. Where they really, really start to understand things. Okay? But that's close to death right there. Now you're a senior citizen. But if you believe what it says, that it's a curse to die before you're 100, you really should be living past 110. Really, 120 to 140 is the ideal age to be living. And you don't have to look old and wrinkly. Especially when you're pretty much just becoming an adult at age 60. You're pretty much just not becoming an adult. So it'll be a long time before your skin starts to hang when you live like that. But anyway, that's why I'm just saying that I decided to, it came to me that learn to be led by the Spirit and not by your flesh. And that is the best bet for me right now, is to be led by the Spirit. That is really the only option I have, is to be led by the Spirit. That's the only option I have. But anyway, that'll be it, and I'll talk later.